Hey, what's up? What's going on, guys? Welcome to the fourth quarter. We're back. Craig's back in the building. Corey's back in the building. This is pretty nice because the we're gonna talk about some NBA and then we gotta get into this NFL draft. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. It's a lot of mock drafts out there that are off the chain. I don't think I've seen a similar mock draft yet. But let's get into it. Craig, the NBA playoffs are here. I love it. I watched the Hawks and the Heat game. I'm definitely gonna give you my thoughts on that. It was crazy because the Hawk. First of all, I was like, I think I picked the Heat to win because they kind of owned them in the regular season and the playoffs. And then I'm watching the game, and it just seems like Atlanta got they had every rebound. They were getting every rebound, whether it was defense or offense, and they were just scoring. And the Heat would try to come back, and then they just kept scoring. The only points they had off the bench was Kyle Lowry, and I was like, "Yo!" I was just shocked that the Heat lost to the Hawks. I was just shocked. But what are your thoughts on the game?
I wasn't shocked that they lost. It's because the Hawks are, I think now they're 5-1 in playing games, so they're used to being in the play-in. And even though the regular, obviously the regular season is different than play-in or playoffs or whatever it is. So I kind of take what happens in the regular season with a grain of salt. Seen it so many times where teams get dominated or get swept in the regular season by one team, and then the playoffs happens, and then
That's true.
opposite or whatever happened. So I thought the Heat were going to win just because they were at home. I thought they were playing a little bit better down the stretch, especially playing better than the Hawks.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, I mean, this is what happens when you have like a one. It's not really a one and done, but like a play-in, I guess you could say, type of game where anybody could win. It's just one game. It's not a best of, and the Hawks were the better team last night. They were getting, like you said, they were getting every single rebound. I mean, they had like 60 rebounds. I think
crazy.
Capella had over 20.
Mhm.
So it seemed like every loose ball there, it was going their way. I thought the Heat would make a run because that's what happens in the NBA. Every team seems to make a run, and they made a run. They cut it to within 5 in the third, but the Hawks answered and made a run of their own. And Jimmy Butler was just he missed shots that he usually makes. Kyle Lowry was keeping him in the game, and I mean the Heat crowd is never really. It's one of the worst crowds that I mean in the NBA. It's always been, even when they had LeBron. Even when they had D Wade in his prime and had Shaq, and it's like they just get to the game late.
They get to the game late. They be leaving.
They come back from halftime late. So if you're looking for a home crowd advantage or home court advantage in the NBA, it's not the Miami Heat unless it's like late in the game or something like that or whatever.
Which is crazy.
Then that's when they'll start really getting involved. But this game is kind of out of hand, so. It is what it is, and at least they got one more opportunity. They'll be at home on Friday against whoever. I got Chicago tonight, so
yeah, I was about to ask you that next. You got Chicago?
I got the Bulls. I'm just not a believer in the Raptors at all. I haven't really been a believer in the Raptors all season. They got some okay pieces. They just haven't been able to put it all together this whole season, so I'm not rocking with them. Some people are calling it a DeMar DeRozan revenge game. I don't see it that way. I mean, it's been so long since he's been there with that team. Even to stop in San Antonio before.
It's been a long time since he's been with the Raptors.
I just think that the Bulls, even without Lonzo, they haven't had Lonzo all season, but I think DeMar and Zach LaVine are going to be enough to edge it out against the Raptors tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you with the Bulls when I started like getting into it, and then I realized like, okay, the Bulls got a nice roster. They have probably the better players in Zach LaVine, right? And they also have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. The NBA is about superstars. They should be able to push past the Raptors. I don't even think DeMar DeRozan looks at it. I mean, I think he'll be excited if they win. I think he'll mention it, you know, beating them in the play-in. But I got the Bulls winning. So,
Yeah,
who do you got? Bulls Heat.
yeah. I got the Heat.
Yeah,
I think the Heat are the better team. I just think they ran into a team that was getting all the boards. I mean,
they're gonna
it's
adjust.
hard to win when you give up 60
It's
rebounds.
crazy.
I don't even think you're gonna have a chance at all. And they were right there though, so they gave themselves an opportunity, but it's just, it was just too much to overcome. But I think the Heat at home, I think they know what's on the line. They're going to be a tough out. I think if they can, well, they're going to play Milwaukee at this point if they win on Friday. So that's going to be a tough series for Milwaukee because Miami's very physical. They play really good defense. They're very well coached. They just haven't been able to put it together. I think this is probably the end of this team if they don't make it, and I don't think they're going to make it.
Who, the Heat?
Yeah, I think Jimmy Butler is probably going to go, or Bam Adebayo is probably going to go, whatever it is. Somebody's got to get off that team and just kind of restart and start all over because they were in the conference finals 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and they pushed last year. They pushed the Celtics. I think
pushed the Celtics.
So they're right there.
This fall off is crazy though this year.
And they were in the finals in 2020. So it's like they've kind of gone down backwards. They kind of gone downhill ever since 2020. So I just don't see them sticking together.
Weren't they the 1 seed last year?
They might have been. I got to.
They had a high seed last year,
possibly. And this year they're 8th, probably at the high seed they can go is 8th. So
yeah, that's a good crazy drop off.
Yeah, it's a big step backwards, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to overcome it with this group going in the next season. So I kind of see a shakeup going on with that group next year, possibly.
All right, so let me ask you this: let's go to the West Side, right? Where you have the Lakers beat the Timberwolves at home, almost squandered it, but fouls they do to, I guess I can't say that. Sometimes it does determine the game, but sometimes it doesn't. Mistakes do. And Lakers are on the run. I know we beat a lot of sorry teams, but LeBron, AD, and the rest of the team seems like they're clicking right now. I think that the win over the Timberwolves was really good. I think that they beat a young team. Anthony Edwards was not driving to the basket. That's a shout out on the defense on him, which is surprising. And then you got Cat at 2 possessions Charles Barkley called out is when he was being checked by Austin Reeves and he was just not really calling for the ball. And he was getting checked by Dennis Schroeder. He has so much size and length on him. And he wasn't like, hey, let me get the ball because he was in foul trouble. But here's the thing. Shaq's like, listen, that's a risk you got to take. Because if a smaller defender's on you, you can boom, and score at a very high, efficiency level. He's a center. They just said they kind of called him out. They said he was kind of, he was kind of not playing himself, and it could have been the fouls, but I just think they could have played better. What do you think about the Lakers and Timberwolves?
The Timberwolves they kind of reminded me of how they were last year when they played the Grizzlies in the first round, where they just had leads in a couple games and they just blew it. And I know Rudy Gobert, I think he could have made a difference when Anthony, when Cat was in foul trouble, because they didn't really have any inside presence to stop Anthony Davis at that point. Anthony Edwards didn't have a great game. He shot horrible. They had a lot of turnovers, which, if you have a lot of turnovers, especially in that second half, and in the fourth quarter, they only scored 12 points. Like I said Karl Anthony Towns went out of the game, and that was kind of the turning point.
Mm-hmm.
They were up like 10, I think, when he went out of the game.
They were up at 10.
He goes out, and then the league just evaporates. And I mean, it is what it is. But they ended up losing the game. So it's just,
and the wing defender Mitchell broke his hand.
That too. Yeah. So that's another thing. But it just reminded me this year of the same team that played last year, where they just has so many opportunities to win the series, or at least win a couple more games. And instead they just blew leads. And it just, I thought they would be able to get past it, especially first half. They looked pretty good. And then I knew the Lakers were going to make a run, but I didn't think the Timberwolves were going to be collapsing like that down the stretch, especially in the fourth. And then to give up that big three, and then obviously the foul and the other thing with Conley getting fouled by AD. And I was a little, I don't know.
I didn't think it was. What do you think? Do you think it was a good goal?
I don't think that was a foul.
I don't think it was a foul either, but whatever. It happens.
Minnesota should never have been in that position. They should have won the game. They had, I don't know how many chances to win that game, and they just blew it. Even without the two people that are out of the game. Now they will, I can't remember the guy who broke his hand. Daniels, that his name?
It was Daniels.
Yeah, and Rudy. Now they will get Rudy back for Friday, whoever they play, and they'll be at home in that game. So maybe that'll be a plus for them. But this was a squandered opportunity to go against a team that they played last year that they're very familiar with in the first round again in Memphis. And instead, now they're going to probably have to play, if they win, they're going to have to definitely play the Nuggets. And the Nuggets are going to, I mean, the Nuggets are a tough team. I don't know if anybody is like saying this team is the team to beat. I don't even know who the team to beat is in the West. It's so wide open for the first time. And
it's wide open.
I can see about six teams winning the West at this
point. 6 teams is wide. It's wide open.
Yeah,
and if Paul George was healthy, it'd be crazy. It would be insane.
Yeah. So, I think my pick is still Phoenix, but just because they have Kevin Durant, and as long as he stays healthy, and they're undefeated with him so far, 8-0 with him in the lineup, they just have to be obviously healthy. But I mean, it's a 7-game series, so adjustments will be made every single game. So it may not always work out like that. And I don't think they're going to obviously go undefeated through the whole playoffs. That's going to be crazy to do. But back to this game, like I just think Minnesota blew the game. Yeah.
All right. So Pelicans and Thunder, you spoke on that. Who do you think plays the Timberwolves?
You know what, man? I'm disappointed in Zion. Like I don't want him to talk anymore until I just want him to play. If he's gonna, just don't say anything else. You come out and you say you're healthy, you're ready to go, or whatever, but you're not mentally ready. Just don't say anything. Just wait until next season. And if you're not going to play, he's reminding me of Ben Simmons at this point. So I think he's better. Obviously, he's better than Ben Simmons, but mentally and like the way he's talking and what's going on, and it just seems like Ben Simmons all over again. He has the talent, but he just doesn't want to get out there. As far as this game goes,
Craig, good comparison. Marquez Fultz had a mental issue too.
But I mean, like he said he's healthy.
That's 3 top picks. In the recent years, I said they've had mental issues. All of them.
I mean, I think he said it's just he said until he feels like he's playing like Zion, or feels like he can be like Zion again, then he'll get on the court. But he said he's healthy, he's ready to go, or he's healthy. So that kind of contradicts himself a little bit. But
yeah,
I think I'm going with OKC here just because I like Shea, or however you say his name. I think he's crazy. Like the way he plays is out of. He's a really good player. I think Pelicans, obviously, I think they had the better team, but I don't know if anybody's going to be able to stop him. See what happens with Brandon Ingram. But I'm going with the Pelicans tonight, man. I mean, I'm going with the Thunder tonight to, I guess, pull an upset.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Shai Gilgeous is playing at a different level. He's coming into his own, not sneakily, but he might make first All NBA team this year.
He was, I think, the third leading scorer, fourth leading scorer.
Yeah, he's here. Chris Paul said it a minute ago. He was like, "Hey, watch out for that guy." So I think he steps up to the plate, and I do agree with you. I think the Thunder win. Um, and then I think the Timberwolves are going to beat the Thunder. I'm pretty confident that they are.
I'm not confident at all. What I've seen from them last year and what I've seen from them,
It's one game, though, Craig.
I get it, man. But last night was also one game, and they had the opportunity to win the game. But I mean, like I said, they'll have Rudy back, but I don't have any confidence in Minnesota. I'm picking them to win Friday, but I wouldn't be surprised if they lost that game at home. So I don't know.
All right, we're gonna go more in depth of this next week. But I just want you to give a quick who wins, like Nuggets versus say Thunder. Who wins and how many games?
I don't even matter who's that series. I'm going Nuggets.
I'm going Nuggets too. I don't think it's gonna be that close of an upset.
No, I think it's gonna be Minnesota, but I'm going Nuggets in 5, maybe. I'm not sure.
I think
I got either way. I got
gentlemen sweep bar sweep. I agree with you on that. This is gonna be easy. Suns versus Clippers.
I got the Suns. I don't know what status Paul George is in. I mean, what his status is. So
I don't know. He's saying reports saying he was gonna miss the beginning of the playoffs. The report said that he might be in late game 5 or 6. I think it's gonna be over by then. I think it's gonna be a sweep.
I think, yeah, I'm going with the Suns. I don't know about a sweep because I think they have too much talent and they're too well coached, but I am going with the Suns to win that series.
All right, Kings. This is interesting. Kings versus Warriors.
I think this is the matchup that the Warriors wanted.
Yeah.
And I think anybody pretty much that was a lower seed wanted the Kings because they're inexperienced.
Yeah.
They remind me of the Grizzlies from last year. So I'm going with the Warriors.
Okay. I like that. I don't know, man. I've got to go with the Warriors on this, but the Kings are going to give them some go.
I think the Warriors are healthy now. So.
I don't think it's going to be an easy season. I mean, I can see the Warriors in a hard-fought 6-game series, man. But it's going to be hard-fought. All right, who you got, Grizzlies, Lakers?
I'm going with the Lakers. I think they're missing some pieces. Adams, I don't think he's going to be playing in this game.
That's tough. Who's going to guard AD?
So it's going to be they just got too many issues. I like Jaren Jackson. He's probably going to be Defensive Player of the Year. He is a beast, but he seems to get in foul trouble sometimes. So I don't know who's going to guard Ja, but I mean, if Ja gets to the basket somehow, AD's right there.
Yeah,
or LeBron could be right there. But so I think it's going to be a good series though. But I got the Lakers.
Yeah, I got the Lakers too. Shout out to the Lakers. You know that they shoot the most free throws in the NBA is because they go to the basket. They play really hard. They're a really physical team. So I agree. I think I got the Lakers. All right, on the East side, Bucks versus I think we say Heat.
I'm going with the Heat. I'm going to pick the Bucks. I just think they have too much talent. I don't even think they've missed Middleton at all.
They are firing on all cylinders.
It doesn't even matter that so I think Giannis is playing amazing, and the team
they got an all defensive team.
Yeah, their defense is crazy. So I think it's going to be a physical series because Miami plays physical, but I don't think they have enough.
I agree with you on that. Cavs versus Knicks.
This is good. This is a good one.
This is gonna be a good one.
I like Brunson and I like Mitchell. Both of them are really good. I think Brunson could be comeback player of the year or anything like that. Or most improved, not comeback, most improved. I think I'm gonna take the Knicks.
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna take the Knicks. I don't feel good about it. it's just, I mean, I could toss it up in the air.
This is gonna be a good series.
This should probably be obviously it's a 4 or 5, so it should be a really good series.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good series. But this is a pick 'em in the East. This is the only pick 'em I got.
Yeah, it's hard. This is gonna be a good series. You could go with either or for real.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a good series. I agree. I think the Cavs are tough though, man.
Yeah.
But the Knicks is tough. This is gonna be a really good series.
Hope it's a really good. Hope it goes 7.
I think it will. I think it will. 76ers versus Nets. I kind of think the 76ers are gonna win this thing.
I don't think
it might be a sweep.
The Nets don't have
might be a sweep.
Anybody, like there's no star there that can combat anybody on that Sixers team. So I just don't see it.
I don't see it.
They might win one game, or they might get swept like they did last year.
Yeah, they might get swept. And last year they had KD
and
Kyrie. I don't know about that one. I think they're gonna get swept. All right, last one: Celtics versus Hawks.
I'm going Celtics. I think the Hawks are a solid team.
Mm-hmm.
They can shoot. They got some good scores with Murray and Trey. Mm-hmm. But I think the Celtics are just too much, man. I think they're on a mission this year. They want to get back to the finals, and the Hawks are unfortunately in their way. So I got the Celtics.
Yeah, I got the Celtics probably in 4. Probably in 4. Here we go with that Eastern Conference sweeping again.
It was only a sweep last year though in the whole playoffs, and that was the Nets.
Oh, it was the Celtics and the Nets. Didn't we have some gentlemen sweeps though?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, a couple of those. All right, Craig, we know Mo's answer. I asked him last week, who do you think the NBA MVP is? I said my answer. Let me ask you, who right now is if you had a vote for the NBA MVP, who would you vote for and why?
It's Joel Embiid.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
After the last couple years, he's been like the runner-up, and I think this year he's had a phenomenal year. He's had a phenomenal last 3 years, but this year he put his team on his back again, like he's done in years past. He averaged 33 points a game, which leads the league in scoring. He's averaged 10 rebounds. That's a double-double right there. He didn't miss a lot of games, which is good because now the more games you play and the better you play, obviously that helps. Jokic had a decent year, not like he did the last couple of years, but that helps. And I just think he's just been dominant. Like he's just been a dominant. He's the dominant force in the NBA at this point in terms of like big men to me.
Yeah,
it's him first, and then AD's up there. Jokic is up there if you want to throw Giannis. Giannis in there in that category as well. But Embiid, he can shoot inside. He can go outside.
He can shoot every shot on the floor.
Right, he can do everything. So
and he's a great defensive player too.
He is. So I just finally, I think after coming up short the last couple years, I think this is finally his year. And the Celtics, the Sixers won.
And he played. I think he played like 68 games,
66, 68.
68. Yeah, he played a lot of games.
That's what I'm saying. He played finally. He played a decent amount. He played 66. He played 66 games.
It's a lot of games, man.
And he shot 55% from the field, which is higher than it was the last year. His 3-point percentage is right there. His free throw percentage is up. So I think he's just had a phenomenal season this year, and the team I think won more games this year than they did last year. So I think this is his year finally.
Yep, I agree with you, man.
I think this is his year.
Mo picked Jokic, but I was like,
I don't see that one again.
I don't see it, man.
It's hard to give somebody back
3 times MVP back to back.
I think it's only happened twice. The last player was Larry Bird in the 80s.
And look how Larry Bird. Look at what Larry Bird did.
Larry Bird was
he won 3-5. He won massive championships. He is a Finals MVP. He's considered one of the best three-point shooters of all time. Of course, I expect him to win 3 MVPs. He's in a lot of people top 10. But Jokic, I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jokic wins just because I think he's in the top 2 or 3. I think he's gonna finish either 2 or 3 in the voting. But I just think that it's Jokic's time. I mean, it's Embiid's time.
Yeah,
Win it, and it's hard for people nowadays. I guess it seems like because it hasn't happened since the '80s for people to go back to back to back. LeBron didn't do it. Michael Jordan didn't do it.
Yeah, like we talk about greats.
It's hard. I mean, people just sometimes they just. I mean, I know people have great seasons.
Giannis could have did it for real.
It's just hard for people to get, I guess, voted for that many times and to win that many times, and especially in today's day and age.
Yeah.
So I just don't see it.
Then they call it voters fatigue.
Yeah.
Like it's like, all right, man, 3 in a row.
Yeah. So especially when somebody like Embiid has a great season like he did, or Giannis has a great season like he did, then I think you just have to give it up to Giannis on this one. I mean, excuse me, not Giannis, Joel Embiid on this one.
Yeah. All right, Corey. Enough of the NBA. Let's get to. I mean, it's like 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out.
I might take off draft. I can't. I might just be off on that.
that it is gonna be off the chain. So right now we're just gonna go through. Who do you think? We're gonna go through the first 10 picks. Who do you think to pick and why? By the way, I've looked at a lot of mock drafts and I've listened to a lot of people. The mock drafts are everywhere. I have not seen a consistent mock draft with like some have Bryce Young and CJ Stroud 1 and 2. Some don't. Some is just Bryce Young and then CJ Stroud and then it's a fall. It's a lot of. It's very interesting. A lot of skilled players, a lot of offensive linemen, a lot of corners. That's what a lot of people are saying, and even some tight ends. Some tight ends might make the first round. But anyway, yeah, Dalton Kincaid's getting a lot of love. All right, so we're gonna go through the draft picks, and then I'm gonna ask Corey, what do you think about the Colts' 4th overall pick, different scenarios in the breakdown, and then Craig, we're going to dive into who do you want the Carolina Panthers to pick and why in depth. All right, so Carolina Panthers, I think the first pick. Who do you think the Carolina's going to pick first, Corey?
CJ Stroud.
Craig, who do you think they're going to pick?
Bryce Young.
Corey, I'm leaning toward Bryce Young a little bit, man. He's good. It's getting a lot of reports. But once again, nobody's letting out anything. So I don't know what. But inconsistent is going to be one of those two.
Yeah.
Craig, you should feel really good about that, though. You got to feel really good about that. Second pick. We got the Houston Texans. Who do you think the Houston Texans pick, Craig?
I got CJ Stroud.
I have CJ Stroud, but I'm getting some different signal. I'm getting mixed signals from Houston Texans, man. I know this sounds crazy, but I think they go Will Anderson. I think they pull the plug on Will Anderson. Maybe I'm crazy, but it's just weird that the reports that keep coming out. Corey, what do you think? Who do you think the Texans get at number 2?
I think Bryce Young.
So, all right, that's 1 and 2, which is everybody. I mean, a lot of people have that, right? All right, Arizona Cardinals. We'll talk about this later. I do think they trade, but I think they'll go with if Will Anderson is not on the board, then I really think they go. Some consider the best defensive. No, he's getting a lot of recognition. I'm going Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think it's Will Anderson.
Yeah.
If they stay, and
If they stay.
Anderson's arguably been the best player in college football for 2 years. So I know Arizona needs draft capital, needs help, but getting a guy like that, that's tough to pass.
It's getting a lot of praise. They say Hall of Fame talk. That's what happened to Houston. So they say I'm also all pros. Craig, who do you have Detroit Cardinals getting?
I have Will Anderson as well. He's the best defensive player on the board. So I think the Cardinals are going to take. If they don't trade, I think they're going to take.
Yeah. All right, pick number 4. This is a lot. I'm gonna start off with this one. Yeah, I have a feeling I know what you guys are gonna say, but I think they end up with C.J. Stroud. I don't know, man. Texas is weird. It's a weird thing. Are they gonna trade back? Corey, what do you think?
I think it'll be Anthony Richardson.
That's what I keep hearing. I hear that
unless somebody moves in front of them for Richardson.
Which I heard that then y'all will trade out or something. Like y'all like.
I think that if Richardson, if quarterbacks, so there's a the afternoon indie sports radio guy who isn't in the reporting business, but on a few occasions when he has thrown kind of like inside knowledge out there, he's kind of been right when he's been willing to throw stuff out.
All right, so
he thinks Will Levis is the guy.
All right. We'll go more in depth of that later, Corey. Craig, who do you think the Colts gonna get?
I got Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. He's getting he's got a lot of upside. He got a lot of upside. Corey, Seattle Seahawks. Who do you think they're taking?
Jalen Carter.
That's what I agree on. Okay. Craig, Seattle Seahawks. Who do you think they're?
I got
Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
I got Jalen Carter too. I think he falls right to them, and they don't pass him up.
I think this is a good pick for him too, because I think he has some character things going on with him. But he's going to out of the next couple teams, like this is the best fit to me because the at least for the coaching wise, this is a really good coach that can deal with character issues. Like the Lions coach, I don't know. The Raiders, definitely not. Falcons, Bears, I don't know. The Eagles, I think so. So if he falls,
I don't know if he falls past the Bears.
I don't think so either. But I think as far as the environment and the coaching, obviously being in Atlanta with Falcons, definitely. I mean, he's back in Georgia or whatever it is. He knows the area and all that. But team-wise, I just don't feel it. They just don't have it.
Yeah,
especially the coach.
All right. Detroit Lions. Who you got, Corey?
I think the trade this week makes Christian Gonzalez, the corner out of Oregon, make a lot of sense.
That's who I was about to go with, man. Craig, who do you got?
Have a pretty big need at corner.
They traded him ASAP.
I have Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah, that's another bot. They're the two top corners right now. So they're going corner. They're going corner.
Their pass defense last year was horrible.
Yep, they traded Jeff Okudah away.
Yeah,
I was like, they're getting a corner, and they're going to get their pick of the best corner on the board.
Yep,
which is fair. Like, we have 2 number 1s, so we'll trade. You know what I'm saying? So that's very interesting. All right, Las Vegas Raiders. Craig, who do you think they pick?
I have Tyree Wilson. I think the Raiders were third worst in sacks last year, and they finished behind the Bengals, who played one less game. So they definitely need some help getting to the quarterback. So I got Tyree Wilson there.
Man, I got Devin Witherspoon. I got them going 2 corners back to back. Yep. Anyway, to be honest, they need anything on defense because they need a pass rush.
Yeah,
Their cornerbacks suck.
they need corners.
You know what I'm saying? So Corey, who do you got for Las Vegas Raiders?
I went Will Levis.
Oh, okay. All right, that's interesting.
The Raiders made calls about the number 1 pick. By all accounts, they structured the Jimmy Garoppolo contract to be able to get out of it after 1 year.
Yep.
Which means they're not that sold on him.
Mm-hmm.
If Will Levis falls in their lap, and if they don't jump up to 3 to get a quarterback,
yeah,
I initially did put Tyree Wilson in there, but the Raiders making pushes for a quarterback just
interesting.
I think if one of the top 4 quarterbacks are there, I think they'll pull the trigger.
All right, Atlanta Falcons. I think they go defensive edge rusher. They need anything on defense. I think Miles Murphy name has been jumping out there. I think they pick somebody to rush the passer. Or a corner, but they're getting somebody on defense.
I got him with Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, the corner. Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely going top 10. He has to know that by now. What about you, Corey?
I went Tyree Wilson, but initially when I put Wilson with the Raiders, I think if Levis fell to 8, Atlanta's got to consider it because
they do.
Desmond Ridder, unless they think there's a serious chance Desmond Ridder is their long-term answer, which
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you pass on the quarterback in the top 10?
Seems like they're tanking if they're just hyping the team up. I'm like, all right. Like, I don't think Desmond Ridder is that good. That's just me, maybe. That's just me. You know, it's just question what they're doing. I think teams will be like, I like this quarterback. And because there's no tanking in the NFL, I just feel like sometimes they'd be like, we'll go with this quarterback and give him a chance. And then be like a team like the Commanders and end up being 7-10 again because you have a good defense and not a dynamic quarterback.
Where did your guys' Heineke sign? Was it Atlanta?
It was in Atlanta. There it is.
So he's probably their starter at some point this year. Next year.
Yeah. They're tanking, man. Anyway, they're going to probably end up having they're going to have a top 5 pick next year. They're going to be like, oh, it's going to be Caleb Williams. Watch. Or Drake May. Chicago Bears. Corey, who do you have them drafting?
Paris Johnson, left tackle at Ohio State. They desperately need to protect their quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like that pick. Craig, who do you got Chicago getting?
I got Broderick Jones from Georgia, the O-lineman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're going to need help.
Yeah, they were.
Whatchamacallit can go there, too. Peter Skorowski. You know, I've been hearing a lot of buzz about him.
Yeah. They gave up the 4th most sacks last year, so they need to figure out how to protect CJ or Justin
Fields.
Yep. All right, this is a very interesting one. I've been seeing different people for this one.
Man, I'm going back and forth. This is the hardest one.
Philadelphia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Corey, who do you have for Philadelphia? I've been seeing something.
Devin Witherspoon.
Okay, the corner.
Yeah,
they got it. This is a luxury pick.
I mean, they have a hole at cornerback now after Darius Slay. So,
yeah, well, this is going to be interesting. Craig, who do you have Philadelphia getting?
I picked I had the running back from Texas at first because I know they need a running back. I don't know if they're going to go into the season with the running backs that they have on their roster.
That's what I've been hearing. A lot of people were saying that.
Penny and
really?
Yeah.
whoever else. I don't know the other guy name.
A couple people were saying that.
But I ultimately just flipped the coin and just changed it to Peter, whatever his name is, from Northwestern, the offensive lineman.
Yep.
They lost the offensive lineman in free agency. But I wouldn't be surprised if they get. I mean, they can pick anybody at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
I've heard a lot of. This is a luxury pick for real. I heard a lot of BJ Robinson. The only thing is, I don't know. I mean, he's a phenomenal running back. They say he's really good. I mean, they can get him at the 10th pick and stretch it out. You know, unfortunately, running backs get one good contract, so you got to ball out. Like Jonathan Taylor's about to get a good size contract, but it's hard to get that second contract. So you might end up like Austin Eckler, where he signs a contract for $6 million, and now his second contract, the team's not trying to pay him. And then you have Ezekiel Elliott, who they overpaid for him because he was like, I'm going to hold out, and I'm one of the best running backs in the league. Jonathan Taylor's about to get paid too. Like, let's hurry up and pay him $9 to $10 million a year. Boom. Let's see if he continues this. So that's a good pick for them, and they can wait 5 years. If he's that good, it keeps the running game going. I don't know. But if not, I can see Peter Storonsky there or a corner. Like, they got – he brought a lot of people back too. Brought a lot of. I thought they were going to lose a lot of players in free agency, but I was surprised they were able to keep some players.
Where do you have Will Levis going? You didn't
Me?
Say, yeah, you didn't say
he's not in the top 10 on my board.
I don't have him in the top 10 either. Well, I do if a team trades up.
If a team trades up, yeah.
But I got him at 11 to the Titans.
Now he won't, Corey. That's what I will give you. He will not fall past the Titans. I agree with that. If he falls outside the top 10, he's not. The Titans are running the card up because Tannehill's on a year, so he needs to go to a. I don't want to say this, but he needs to sit for a year. He needs to sit for a year behind a veteran coach and a professional. Ryan Tannehill's a professional. He just needs to see how it's done for a year. And then they're going to let Ryan Tannehill go, and then they're going to start Will Levis. They're going to say you've had a year. That's how it's going to go. So, but they got a lot of holes too. And I've heard they're trying to trade up. Did anybody else hear that?
That's what I was saying.
Yep.
If they trade up, I think they could take Levis or Richardson. They trade up with
I think Tennessee is in a really, really tough spot right now.
Yeah.
The Titans are saddled with a bad contract for their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your star player pushing 30.
You traded one of the best young receivers.
Yeah. For a guy who that move. The revenge game AJ Brown had got that GM fired.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But you look at the AFC South.
Yeah.
Not a great division. Very winnable.
Yeah.
You have 2 drafts ago, Jaguars get their franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Decent chance you have the Texans and the Colts get their franchise quarterbacks in this draft.
That's a very good point.
Do you sit at 11 and pray Will Levis falls to you? Or do you need to go do something to try to stay relevant in the South?
That'll be very interesting. If they trade up, that'll be 3 rookie quarterbacks and Trevor
Potentially
Lawrence
3 rookie quarterbacks in the same division.
State division that would draft it right behind each other. Talk about comparison. That's going to be tough.
But
they're going to be comparing each
got
other's records to each other.
Yeah, I mean, the Titans have a really, really good defensive tackle. They've got a really good safety and a lot of just okay on defense.
Yeah, they just got to stay healthy, I think.
A mediocre offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
No wide receivers.
Mm-mm.
Not really much to speak of at tight end.
No,
Good running back.
You're running back, but he's on 30.
But when does he hit that cliff?
Mm-hmm.
And a quarterback that needs to rely on that running game.
Yeah, Tannehill has to. He has to.
So
he has to have a good running game.
It wouldn't surprise me to see the Titans make a splash on draft night, just because I don't think they can afford to stand pat and watch the rest of their division potentially get a franchise quarterback.
Damn. Craig, could you see that? 4 quarterbacks? If Tennessee trades Arizona, you can see 4 quarterbacks?
Yeah, I can see it.
The Colts are taking a quarterback at 4. After the last 5 years, I don't think that there's anything else they can do.
That's true.
You have to go.
You know what about
pressure is on.
Okay, let's let me ask you this, Corey. What about, we've talked about this in the past. What about trading up back in to the first to get Hendon Hooker?
It's a gamble.
He's rising up a lot of draft boards too, by the way.
Yeah, he is. I wouldn't hate him going into week 1 as the starter next year. Look, it's Chris Ballard's job is on the line with this quarterback selection.
It is.
If you say quarterbacks go 1-2,
he gotta trade up
3.
You know? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. You gotta pick 4. I see what you're saying.
Do you take Will Anderson at 4? Because if the Colts were to take Will Anderson at 4, everybody on the planet knows they're trading up for Hendon Hooker in round 1.
Damn.
So then there's a mad scramble. Hooker is going to be flying up the draft board, and anybody else that was considering him is suddenly you're potentially. I don't know if the Colts could get high enough from 34 up to get Hooker at that point, because I think that would set off a bit of a scramble.
Damn, that is a really good point. Because
and the asking price for that trade goes through the roof. Like, you're probably going to have to give up 2 future ones to go from 34 up to wherever to get Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, I could. I've seen a lot of teams. I see him to Seattle. I seen him to Minnesota. He's climbing up. What about you, Craig? What's your thoughts on Hendon Hooker?
I think he's obviously he has an injury thing going on, but I think he had a really good season. Or he was having a really good season up until the point he got hurt. So I think he could be a really good quarterback. One of the biggest issues, I guess, that I've been hearing about, obviously, is his age. I think he's like 25.
He's 25.
So he's a little bit older. Doesn't have those he probably has 3 or 4 years on some of these other quarterbacks. So that might play a part in it, but I think he has the ability, if he plays like he did last year, to go in the first round. I think he'll probably go late first round, early second round, possibly. Seattle is out there.
Yeah. I can see late first, yo.
Yeah, I think he has. I think he has the talent to go late first.
Damn, of course.
It's just if a team wants to take a chance on him, or if they want to just say we can see if they can wait till the next round, the second round, and see if they can move up to get him. But I think if they wait too long and he's still there in the second round, somebody's going to either have to trade up.
Colts are trading up ASAP. If he makes it, if he drops, right? If he gets past Minnesota, once he gets past Tampa Bay and Minnesota, he's gonna fall. Baltimore's not taking a quarterback. Jacksonville's not. New York's not. Dallas isn't. Buffalo isn't. Cincinnati's not. New Orleans isn't. Philadelphia's not.
But I
think
a number of those teams,
New Orleans might.
Buffalo, Cincinnati, those teams are really good trade back candidates.
Yep. If he makes it, if he falls that far, call up Buffalo.
When is Detroit's second first-round pick?
Detroit's second first-round pick is 18. So if he makes it past that 18, 19, 20, and 23, it's a wrap. He's falling.
But is Chris Ballard willing to bet his job that he can get back up and get Hendon Hooker and take somebody else at 4?
That is a very good question. That is
because if you take Will Anderson,
might be too much of a risk.
Somebody trades ahead of you and gets Hendon Hooker. What do the Colts do at quarterback?
Garner Minshew and Nick Foles.
Yeah, Minshew's now your season starter, not just week 1.
Nah, Minshew's your season starter. I don't know.
That's not a good answer.
Corey, if y'all go that route, y'all are definitely getting the number 1 pick. I'm gonna be honest, you're gonna be pissed if they do that and they go in.
The problem is, I think their defense
crazy.
Would be good enough to win them enough games that they wouldn't get the number 1 pick.
So it would be kind of like how the Commanders are, where it's like, oh, we're gonna keep Sam Howell, but we're so good enough that we probably win 7 games, and it's gonna be like, damn it.
In that division, and if you add Will Anderson to that defensive line that the Colts have, that is a scary defense.
That's a vicious defense. That's what I'm saying, yo. What do you do? If Will Anderson is there, you're like, wait a minute. People are calling him like Hall of Fame, like Von Miller type. He's going to make multiple All-Pros. That's what people are saying about him.
Yeah,
I know
people
are willing to trade. People are willing to trade. The Cardinals willing to trade the number 3 pick, but I can't really trust their decision making.
But I can also see both Philadelphia and Detroit at 6 making their way up to 3 for Anderson.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, this is all right. We're going to let.
Could you imagine Philadelphia jumping up a few spots with their draft capital and taking Will Anderson to add to that defense?
Well, yeah, would you trade? So if he falls and Tennessee trades the Cardinals and they get Anthony Richardson and you're sitting there at 4 and the Eagles call you like, we got 2 number 1s. You're turning that down, Corey? That's a tough call.
If quarterbacks go 1 through 3, so say like Levis is the quarterback on the board at 4.
Mm-hmm. That's tough. That's a tough call. That's tough. Because you're in a good spot to get him to Hooker at 10 if you want. And then you have another first round pick on top of that.
I don't think that
that's a tough call. Yeah, the Eagles got the 30th pick. And they got the 10th. The Eagles trade too. They'd be like, yeah. Oh, Will Anderson's there? We have 2 number 1s. And I feel like Chris Ballard has to I don't know. It's a tough call, Craig, because then he could get him to Hooker at 10. It's high, but is it really high if you get a decent quarterback? Is it a high pick for a quarterback?
Yeah, that's a little
if
high.
You're not sold, right? And Will Levis goes before him, but you get another pick. So I don't know. It's a. This is why we don't have those jobs. That's a risk. That's a bold risk. I think the only
way you end up with Hendon Hooker is if that other pick is Will Anderson. I think the only way you pass on one of these 4 quarterbacks is if you take the generational defensive talent.
Yeah, that's what I said. If Houston drafts him, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people are going to be mad.
That definitely ups in the first round.
Yeah,
because
it's gonna be crazy after that. It's gonna get crazy.
I think Arizona could be in position because if Indy's willing to give up a little bit to go from 3 to 4 to get Stroud,
which isn't a big thing. Yeah.
Arizona could still move back again
and get Anderson
to give somebody crack at Richardson.
Richardson, yeah,
they could. Will Anderson goes 2.
If Will Anderson goes 2, CJ, y'all trade up, get CJ Stroud. Arizona's fielding calls. Somebody might trade
back
up
again.
to get Richardson. and the Colts feel like geniuses. I'm not, listen, I don't believe everything I hear, but Peter King said this, and I do believe Peter King. He said there's a lot of young GMs in the first couple 12 picks. He said, don't be surprised if you see some wild picks. Do not be surprised, yo. It's going to be, sometimes we're going to be like, and now 5 years later, we might say, damn, Will Anderson is on that Myles Garrett, averaging 15 sacks a year, and such flamed out. Or it could be the other way.
Hey, first-round quarterbacks have a 50% bust rate.
50%. Just the people that rush the passer, that they don't. It's not a lot of, I can say it's a couple, but it's more pass rushers that are rated high that succeed in the NFL versus quarterbacks. I know that for a fact.
Well, I think Anderson would be the unquestioned number one pick if you didn't have so many teams that needed a quarterback.
Yep.
Because talent-wise, Anderson is the number one prospect in this entire class.
Yep.
And the fact that he's not the unquestioned number one pick is kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's a generational talent. All right, Craig, you said Bryce Young for the Panthers, number one overall pick.
Yeah.
Why do you think so? And have you been hearing any different reports from local reporters that suggest otherwise?
I mean, right now, is from what I'm hearing, it's 50-50. Like, I think the owner still wants Bryce Young, or he likes Bryce Young more.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank Reich likes C.J. Stroud more. So it just depends on who gets the last word, I guess, or who gets the final say-so for this upcoming draft.
Jobs are on the line. That's what it is.
We got 2 weeks to go, and I mean, it's
if he's wrong with the owner, it's fight going against the owner, or you're going to lose your job.
I don't think they're going against each other. I just think they have a difference of opinion. I think Frank Reich, obviously, I think he has his type of quarterback that he likes to have playing for him, which are bigger quarterbacks like C.J. Stroud, and Tepper likes the leadership and the pocket presence and everything that Bryce Young has to offer. If Bryce Young was 6'3" and 210, this wouldn't even be an issue. But he's not, so they have to deal with, and Panthers fans have to deal with who they're going to draft or who they're going to pick, and who's not going to be the next quarterback for the next 10 years or whatever it is. And if they pick Bryce Young, he doesn't work out, and C.J. Stroud is better, or if they go the opposite way and pick C.J. Stroud and doesn't work out and Bryce Young is better, you're going to have to deal with that for the next.
You had to do that for a long time.
So, I mean, you're going to become right back in the same position again, trying to pick another quarterback. So it works out like Jacksonville or Cincinnati or Buffalo, and you hope you make the right, that too. You just hope you make the right decision. And I'm going with C.J. Stroud just because Bryce Young just because I think he's the better quarterback. I think he's the most talented quarterback. I think he can make a lot of the throws, all the throws. I think C.J. Stroud played exceptionally well, especially in that semifinal game, and he showed what he could do. But I just can't get past how good. And I think I picked C.J. Stroud a few weeks ago just because the projection was that it was going to be Stroud, and now it's kind of getting back to 50-50 or whatever it is. So it's getting a little bit closer. Vegas has it. The numbers have changed in Vegas.
Stroud towards Bryce Young, right? To favor him?
No, I think Stroud is still the favorite, but it's getting closer.
It's getting closer.
I haven't checked today. I didn't even check while I was out.
People keep, some people say Stroud, some people say Young. I'm leaning more towards Young now.
I just think if Tepper has the last word in this, which he is the owner, I think it's going to be Bryce Young. But if he just says, "Okay, Frank, you got it. It's your show. Go and do what you do."
It's going
to be Stroud. I really don't think they have an answer at this point. I could be wrong. Maybe they do, and they just keeping it obviously tight-lipped. This is not a Trevor Lawrence type of draft where unanimously who's going to be the number one overall pick. So, I know they're taking a quarterback. I don't think it's going to be Anthony Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just going to be between Stroud and Young. I wouldn't. I mean, hopefully, we'll probably never even know how far in advance or how close down to the wire they were to
Nah, we're not gonna never know
making it. Or if
unless they tell us, unless they leak it.
I mean,
We'll
even
never know.
I don't know if we'll even get the truth
Yeah.
out of it.
In interviews on
Okay.
draft night, they're like, "Oh, we've known this for weeks. It was
Right.
a clear-cut decision."
That is true. That is
Just
true.
never know,
That
man.
is true.
Go get all
Even
that
though
good
real
stuff.
talk, it'd be down to the wire.
You never know.
Down to the wire. Well, not all teams, right? Some teams like no, like we know Patrick Mahomes is going to be a sure thing. We know Josh Allen's going to be a good thing. We know Lamar's going to be a good thing. But those are very tough picks. Those franchise, we'll talk about Lamar a little later, but those are like really good picks. And I'm still on the fence about Deshaun. We'll see what he does this year. But
and they just
it
lost.
could be one of those type of quarterbacks where you have a Patrick Mahomes where one blows up to, and you have Deshaun Watson. I'm talking about you. You might have a potential to have two franchise quarterbacks. One just might be a little bit better than the other, that's what you kind of want. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what I keep hearing about Bryce Young. We get his size, right? But listen, they said that his leadership is really, really well. And the way that he fills the pocket is crazy. They say he has like a sixth sense and he's very intelligent. You know what I'm saying? Like he's highly intelligent. He digests playbook really quickly. He processes speeds at an insane rate. I think that kind of is going to give me the edge, Bryce Young over CJ Stroud from the Panthers. I know it's a big risk with his health, but if I hit in the NFC, man, oh man, if I hit, cool. Because Kyler Murray has leadership issues, right? If think about Kyler Murray having no leadership issues, I just don't know if I'm a pass on that. The game protects quarterbacks a lot nowadays, so it's like I don't know, man. I know people keep talking about the size. He played at Alabama. He played at Alabama, the SEC, for 2 years. And SEC, they put out a lot of heavy hitters on defense. A lot.
And
so I don't know. But CJ Stroud comparison is Jared Goff, which I wouldn't be mad at. But I looked up Bryce Young is Drew Brees.
I mean,
I'm leaning to a Bryce Young though. I got this feeling about him.
Drew Brees,
it's hard to predict quarterbacks.
I'm not going that far, but
no, you don't. I think he's the best quarterback in the draft.
I think he's the best quarterback in the draft.
I think he's going to be good.
I'm not going to compare him or make up.
No. This is I was on Lance Zerline. I was just telling you.
Okay.
I don't do comparisons, bro. I look up people who do. Nah, Lance Zerline said that. No.
Well, too much.
I can't get. I don't like doing that. I learned that a long time ago. I don't play those. I don't play those comparison games, man. You be dead wrong. I just try to predict if it's going to be good or not, and that's so hard to do for quarterbacks. It's the hardest. It's almost the hardest position to predict.
I mean, it's also though it like the player alone isn't enough. You have to have the right player in the right situation.
Yeah.
If like Patrick Mahomes, I may not be like all-time great Patrick Mahomes if he wasn't paired with Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
Like you throw him into some dysfunctional situation, and I don't think he's the player that he is.
And he sat a year. People they don't continue to mention that. He's
Aaron Rodgers. If he goes 1 to the 49ers instead of end of 1 to Green Bay, I don't know if he's the same player because he goes to the 49ers. He's going to have to see the field day one. And you look at Rodgers' college tape at Cal and you look at him in the NFL, his mechanics are overhauled. he needed that time to sit.
Yeah, he had to learn. Some quarterbacks have to. That's why I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying anything about Jordan Love. I don't know at this point. I don't know. He got a good time to sit and learn. And Rodgers said he didn't give him the cold shoulder that Favre gave him. So I don't know. You see his piece with it. He's like, man, I'm trying to be in New York. He hasn't bashed Jordan Love. He got mad when they drafted Jordan Love, but after that, he hasn't said nothing about it. Y'all notice that? And he was like, it's not Jordan Love's fault, but at least management lets me know. And then he was back-to-back MVPs. There's no comment. He's never bashed Jordan Love. I think that they had a decent relationship. I think that Jordan Love watched his mannerisms and taught. Green Bay Packers have said that he's that guy. And I believe the players. He's already doing off-season workouts. I think that that was a right situation for Jordan Love.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? Like if Will Levis falls to like Tennessee, right? Not Tampa Bay. I'm talking about where a place that he's gonna have to sit and learn. If he goes to Seattle, he has to sit and learn. Now, let me ask you this, Corey. Richardson, you talked about a quarterback being good off a situation. As a coach, you think Richardson's situation would be better than Will Levis?
Yes, I think Richardson has a lot higher ceiling. I will say this. I think Richardson, of the top 5 quarterbacks, I think Richardson has the lowest floor.
Okay.
But I think that he may have the highest ceiling of them all,
Gotcha.
just because of the dynamic stuff he can do with his legs. Like you can't coach at that size. He's going to be able to take some hits, and his accuracy is better than what he's given credit for. Like I was looking through a Twitter thread, and they're breaking down some plays from, I think it was the Florida State game, where he had like a 25% completion percentage or something, and it was like 6, 7, 8 different plays that they showed gifs of, and it was just Richardson looked like he put the ball in the right spot. Like a couple of them, the receivers fell down. One of them, the receiver just got jammed and lost against the DB. And it's you look at the film, and not all those incompletions are on him. Like, yes, there's some mechanical stuff to fix, but that can be coached. And I think the Colts are in a unique spot with having a head coach that has worked successfully with very different types of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like what Philly did with Jalen Hurts the last 2 years, I think
it's crazy.
A team should basically copy for Anthony Richardson, trying to simplify stuff, giving him 1 or 2 reads, let him use his legs, utilize that mobility, and play to his strengths. And I have full faith in the Colts coaching staff to be able to do that with Richardson. But I also think that if they take Levis at 4, they're still in a better situation than they've been in the last 4 years. Like Will Levis would be the best quarterback that the Colts roster has had since Andrew Luck.
Damn. Yeah, y'all, we're going through some quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's like Phillip Rivers would be the next best, but Rivers' arm was done that year.
Yeah.
Like his mental preparation helped him have a Pro Bowl caliber season for them that year, but he didn't have the arm strength anymore.
Yeah.
Like Will Levis can put the ball in places that just nobody else has been able to since Andrew Luck. So I'm okay whichever route they end up going, but I think Richardson's just a more dynamic player. You look at Lamar, you look at what Hurts did, and just being able to make those unscripted plays are huge in today's NFL.
Yeah, that's true. I get it. Oh, so let's break this down. Craig, let me ask you this. Cardinals they're saying that 6 teams have reached out to trade for the number 3 pick. Which teams could you see trading and why?
I definitely can see the Colts. I can see the Colts if they maybe get a little nervous or something like that. and they want to just reassure themselves that they can get the quarterback that they want, or the option of if Young and Stroud go 1 and 2, then there's Levis there, and then there's Richardson there. They extract out of those two that they want. The Titans is another team I can see moving up. I think they need a quarterback. They're in a pretty decent spot. They're 11, going up to 3. I don't know if they want to
cost though. I feel like that's
it's definitely gonna cost. Whatever team moves up. I mean, maybe not. Obviously, the Colts is not gonna cost them as much as the Titans, but it's gonna cost them just because that's a big jump. And the Cardinals to go back that far. Granted, they're going to get some draft picks. They'll probably get a 2024 first round, a 2025 first round, or whatever it is. But I think the Titans need a quarterback. They need a hit on a. Because I don't know if Malik Willis, after what I saw last year, even though it was a small sample size, that was some of the worst quarterback play I think I've ever seen. He didn't even hit 100 yards passing in any of the games that he played.
No, that was pretty bad.
So, and like I said, I know it's a small sample size, and maybe next year or whatever it is, next season he'll be better, but that was horrible. I definitely can see them trading up. The Raiders, I can see the Raiders trading up. Corey mentioned that they tried to trade up for the number 1 pick a few weeks ago. So why not trade up 4 spots to trade with the Cardinals at this point? If you want a quarterback, you can get a quarterback. If you want Will Anderson, you can get Will. You can get basically any player at that point, outside of probably Stroud and Young. Let me see. I don't know if they're going to trade way up there. I wouldn't be surprised. No, you know what? I'm not even going to say it because I would be surprised.
What was you about to say? The Seahawks or something?
No, the Commanders.
Oh man, no, I don't think so, man.
I don't think so either. But I think this is what's the name? Ron Rivera's last. I think. Well, they've been saying this for the last couple of years, but this is his last year. This is last year, so I think he needs to do something there to make himself on favor with when the new ownership does take over, whenever that's going to be. And I think they could move up to possibly get if they're not really sold on 100% on Sam Howell or Jacoby Brissett, which I don't think they are on him at least. Then I think they can make a splash and even if they don't take a quarterback at that point, they could get up. They can move up and get a defender. They could get anybody at that point. You don't really have to necessarily get a quarterback, but if you're moving up that high, I would assume you're looking.
I mean, if we make a trade, that has to be for a quarterback. But they haven't came out and said they haven't done any work on quarterbacks. It just keeps coming out every time they get asked about a quarterback. They say Sam Howell.
I don't know about that one. I think the Lions,
I don't know about that one either, Craig. I want to get Lamar, but I don't know what my team is doing. I don't know what Ron Rivera is doing. I think he thinks that he can win with defense. I get that, right? But you got to have some type of quarterback play.
True. I think the Lions.
I just don't think Sam Howell's that guy.
No, I don't think so either. Well, maybe we'll see. I don't know.
We're probably gonna go 7-10 or 8-9 again.
It's possible.
It's we're one of those teams. We're not like the Falcons. We have a good enough team to squeak out some wins against some good teams, but we're just gonna lose 10 games. We're gonna miss the playoffs again.
Possibly. I can see the Lions moving up just because they have another draft pick in the first round.
Yeah, I can see that.
And they can move up to get whoever they want.
Because it might not be a quarterback.
It might not.
It might be Will Anderson, man.
If they really want
I don't know why would they do it, but that's just on me. If they need somebody to get them sacks.
They need somebody to get stops in general.
I don't know why he would draft a generational player. Some franchises they just make this. I don't know.
Maybe they do want Will Anderson and they just move up. Possibly. I mean, I think Seattle could move up as well. Any of those 4, 5, 6, and 7, I think could move up. Possibly even 8 with the Falcons. and Tennessee definitely. Those are like
Tennessee definitely, yeah.
Those are my 6 teams that I think could really move up. I think the Bears have enough picks. They should be straight. I think the Eagles, they don't really need to move up anywhere. They're fine. They can get back to the championship game at one time. The Texans are picking 12th again, so I don't really think they need to move up. They're pointing for that one. And then the Jets, I don't know what they're doing. They're still waiting for Aaron Rodgers to come, and who knows when that's going to happen.
That's very interesting. They keep saying they want it before the draft, but
the Patriots very rarely. I don't think the Patriots really ever move up.
Nah.
So I just don't see that happening. So
I don't think they've never moved up, actually.
And
they might have moved down.
They usually trade back.
Belichick's famous for moving down now.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick, I'm going with Colts, Seahawks, Lions, Raiders, Falcons, Titans.
Corey, do you agree?
Yeah, I think I would throw, obviously the Raiders, Falcons, Titans are all possibilities for a quarterback. I think Washington has to be in play there because, Rivera has to see the writing on the wall, see that a sale does look fairly imminent this offseason, which means
it should be
this is his last chance to make a dent. He goes near 500, he's gone because the new owner's going to clean house.
Yep.
And I would hope that he learned as well from the Carson Wentz experience that you guys had, that just going with the veteran isn't necessarily because playing Sam Howell is a move by somebody that thinks their job is secure. And I don't know why he would think that.
I don't know either, Corey.
Because, look, don't get me wrong. I am very intrigued by Sam Howell. He was the quarterback I was most intrigued with in last year's draft that I do wish the Colts would have pulled the trigger on. But it's a huge gamble.
Huge.
And I think Tampa Bay has to be considered in play. They're sitting at 19.
That is true.
And I don't know how far back Arizona is willing to go, but I do think that Tampa.
19.
Yes, they signed Baker to a average size contract, nothing fantastic. But you look at the receiving core they have, you look at some of the other pieces they have. If they're looking to stay relevant, I wouldn't be that surprised if they went screaming up the board after a quarterback.
Damn.
And then, I think the Lions and Eagles make a ton of sense if Will Anderson is sitting there at 3 and Arizona is willing to pass. No, it's just because Detroit does seem pretty sold on Jared Goff, and the Lions offense has been pretty good last year.
Yeah.
So you add an elite defender for them, and then if Philadelphia were to add Will Anderson, that would be insane.
Yeah, that's crazy because you're talking about they got Hutchinson on one side, Detroit, and they're gonna have Will Anderson, and then Philly. If Cardinals say the number 3 pick is in play, Philly can move up. We'll give you our 10th pick and our 30th pick. I don't know if you turn that down, but once again, if I'm the Cardinals, I'm not trading that pick. I'm picking Will Anderson. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'm not trading away that pick.
Arizona, I think the trade, Arizona's not trading that pick before the draft. I would be correction. Indianapolis is the only team I would trade with before the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Because 0% chance that Indy's going to take your guy.
Yeah.
Because if Houston does something crazy, like takes Will Anderson at 2, suddenly the value of that number 3 pick
goes up
because you have 3 quarterbacks on the board. So there's no reason for the Cardinals to do anything until draft night.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, if Houston gets Will Anderson, if Carolina drafts Bryce Young, and Houston gets Will Anderson,
Arizona is not staying at 3.
The draft is all going to be off the chain. It's going to be off the chain. That number 3 pick is going to be worth a lot of money. It's going to be like what San Francisco did for Trey Lance. Didn't they trade for number 3?
Yep.
They don't got first round
And
picks for a
I
minute.
said if you're Indy, it's something the trading for that number 3 pick today would be cheaper than if waiting and seeing Will Anderson go number 2.
Yep, I agree.
But I am
But it's
steadfast
one pick down, though. It's
Chris
one
Ballard
pick down.
is not going to give up draft capital in this draft.
I don't think so. He doesn't really.
Especially
He mostly trades back, right?
Yes, he is also another one that is famous for trading back. I think if Anderson goes 2, that there's a better chance that Ballard trade back a little than moves up.
If Anderson goes to 2,
would probably storm East 56th Street in that facility if they traded out of number 4 altogether.
Man, they better not. Because then you're guaranteed. If Houston takes Will Anderson, you're guaranteed it's 3 quarterbacks there that you can pick.
Yeah, and I think that they would be comfortable waiting. If they had a strong feeling for one guy, I think they would have been willing to go to 1. I don't think that they are that sold on any of these 4.
So if the Texans pick Will Anderson, you don't see Colts trading up.
Nope.
That makes sense.
I think Ballard would be very happy to sit there and take whoever is there between Richardson and Levis.
Yep. And if somebody trades up, you're still in a good position.
I think the Colts would be content with taking Will Levis at 4.
Yeah. Or somebody could trade 3rd pick and pick Will Levis. Then you have C.J. Stroud-Anderson. It's gonna if the Texans don't pick C.J. Stroud, it's gonna get wild, man.
Yes.
You know, it's gonna be interesting. But all right, the last question. This is a very interesting one. I want to get both of your insights on this. I know Craig probably doesn't want to hear it, but
I'm fine with it now because
okay.
It's not as been as overblown as it was.
No. Yeah. Yeah, he was like, but okay. So the Ravens signed Odell Beckham. I want to say it could reach up. So the signing bonus was 13, and then it's very incentive laden, so it can reach up to $18 million.
The 15 guaranteed.
It's 15 guaranteed, but this was like I looked at it. I was like, these slick mugs, man. Here's a 13.165 signing bonus. So then, like, if he makes the roster spot, he gets the rest of that. I was like, these guys are cap wizards because they can still have room for Lamar, right? And let me get your thoughts on that, Craig, because I'm hearing like different reports.
Okay, so I think it's a good signing for Odell. I think he got for coming off of an injury like that, and for not playing last season, and then I think he got evaluated by the Cowboys, and they said no, he wasn't ready, or he didn't pass the physical, or whatever it was. And then to come out this year, and then I think he like ran a couple routes or something like that earlier on or something. I don't remember too much, but
he had his own pro day.
Yeah. Either way, he did enough to earn $15 million, which I think is for all that to happen. I think is pretty solid. Now, as far as the Lamar Jackson thing going, saga, whatever, I think this could be an indicator. I know a couple weeks ago he said he wrote the letter to the fans saying he was done and all that, and basically said his goodbyes to Baltimore. But maybe if there's any way he could come back, this might be the way. Just because I think that the players, I think they talked to each other. Obviously, he posted it on his, I think that was Instagram or something like that. So he has that out there. I think that was Lamar's IG as well. So it seemed like he's the one who posted that picture. So they are talking to each other, and they've probably been talking to each other for a little while now. And I think if there was any reassurance of saying that, okay, I'm going to sign. If you sign there, then I'll do my best to re-up and sign with Baltimore, even if it's a short-term deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3-year deal, 130 million guaranteed or something like that. Then after 3 years, he can go out and get another deal somewhere, even if it's not with Baltimore.
I think that's what they offered him. 3 years, 133 million.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
I think that's what they offered him.
it's not going to be what he's looking for. It's not going to be higher than Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray or anybody like that. But it'll at least give him a chance to.
If he balls out 2 years, he's gonna go right back to the table.
He has. I mean, he has been balling. I mean, he's been balling. I mean,
if he goes to the playoffs and win the playoff game, if they're good for 2 years and make the playoffs and are relevant, they're gonna have to re-sign him for more money.
The thing is, if you think you're going to get Patrick Mahomes type of passing, that's not who Lamar Jackson is. So you got to get that out of your head already. And Lamar Jackson thinks he's going to get Deshaun Watson type money. You got to get that. He's got to get that out of his head too, because that's not going to happen. So they got to try to find some type of middle ground. I think this is finally he's got a receiver there, or he would have a receiver there that I would hope he can rely on. That I can hope it would stay healthy. And if there was any type of gap or bridge or any type of thing to help bridge these two teams or get these two sides talking again, it would be Odell Beckham, to get him already there with the team. Now he can come back and he'll have somebody around him that he can trust throwing the football to. I don't know if this too little too late, or I mean, well, then it's not too. I don't think it's April, so I don't think it's too little too late. I just think they have to start trying to figure out a common ground and a good way to start the conversations. Obviously, I'm still on the. I think if Lamar Jackson has had a manager or not a manager, what you call him, agent, I think it would be a lot easier for him to get this done. But he doesn't. He's repping himself, so. You know, he has to go out there and try to make the best deal for him. But at the same time, I would try to just have a little bit of like common sense. Like, you know, you're not going to get $200 million guaranteed. You have to know that at this point. They're not willing to budge on whatever they offered earlier. Maybe they'll go up a little bit, 150 million guaranteed or something like that. Cool. You go ahead and take it 3-4 years. You come out of that relatively healthy. And then you go into renegotiating in a couple years.
Yeah,
I just think they have to make the best deal for each other.
Yeah, Corey, what do you think about the OBJ Lamar situation?
I think the Odell signing. One, kudos to him for getting that kind of money. I would be curious to hear what the number 2 offer was.
Shout out to him.
I think it's a sign that the Ravens are not expecting a long-term deal, and they are resolute in the franchise tag. I don't blame Lamar for doing what he's doing. He knows what he's worth. 26-year-old franchise quarterbacks don't hit the market.
Nope.
And yes, I know the owners are all pissed with Haslam for giving a fully guaranteed deal to Deshaun Watson. At this point, it may not necessarily hurt Lamar to wait one more year and wait for the Herbert Burrow contracts to come out and be like, there's the starting point.
Maybe Hurts too. Maybe Hurts.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
So I don't know what the option is for Lamar. There isn't really one right now. Maybe after the draft, somebody whiffs on quarterback altogether and is willing to try to start talks. But I don't see anything getting structured in a manner that Baltimore wouldn't match. So I think we're probably to the point where Lamar goes back to Baltimore on a 1-year franchise tag. I think he holds out. I don't think if I'm him, I don't sign that until into training camp. Like I didn't show up. I wouldn't show up for any of the off-season workouts, any of the voluntary stuff, any of the mini camps.
Yes,
I would consider holding out into training camp as well. You know, be working out on your own, be ready to hit the field day one and ready to go. But I think he should be willing to make a statement like that because he's not under contract. But I think the Ravens are probably feeling some pressure to win now because they have to realize if Lamar were to leave, what happens? There is zero backup plan for them right now. So, yeah, I think the franchise tag happens. The Odell is an attempt to try to make Lamar happier, but also try to get a receiver there to make a run this year. And then they'll go back to the drawing board next year, and they're probably going to have to pay Lamar a lot more money than if they would have just signed him last year.
Yep.
Because that's what always happens when you don't pay your quarterback.
I
don't think there has been a single situation where the team has won by refusing to pay their quarterback.
It doesn't work. To be honest, I think Corey's right. I think Odell, because they were talking in the offseason, and Odell got what he wanted from the Ravens because he got a nice deal. It's nice. It's 15 guaranteed 1 year. And if he balls out this year, somebody's going to pay him money. Right? I could see this happening. I could see him saying, come on, bro. And he probably signs in a training camp, Lamar. He probably because he announced it like his daughter had on a Lamar jersey on IG. I was like, damn. I was like, damn. That's saying something.
My initial thought was, Odell's not going to sign that contract unless he is very, very confident Lamar will be there. Yeah. But then it's like, was anybody else offering Odell that kind of money?
Yeah. That's something we're not going to know. You know what I'm saying?
Like, was Green Bay going to give him $15 million guaranteed? Probably not.
Nah. I don't think the Jets were going to give him that amount of money.
Nope.
I don't think the Chiefs were either.
Oh, Kansas City they're not paying any receivers that kind of money. Arguably don't need to.
Yeah, they're not paying nobody, so it's going to be it. No, I'm sorry. It was his son. I apologize. It was his son in the Lamar Jackson jersey. So I think Lamar comes in there and plays on the franchise tag, and they have a really good season, and they win 2 playoff games, and then I'm telling you, Lamar's going to win 2 playoff games. He's going to play good, and then they're going to go back to the table and be like, "Damn it, we can franchise him again, but there's no excuse that we're going to have to pay him, or he's going to get another guaranteed contract, and then if he plays good again, he's going." There's no way you third-time franchise tag a player. We all see how this works out. When you franchise a quarterback, they win. They win, man. You can't have a quarterback in the AFC. You can't.
I think Baltimore would be smart to look at Philadelphia and what they did. You look at the Carson Wentz contract.
Uh-huh.
They gave Wentz the extension a year early. And yes, they did end up having to take on the biggest cap hit, dead money hit in NFL history. But they also structured it where after like 3 years of that contract, they could get out of it. So if you're that unsold on giving somebody that kind of money, then do something like give them the money and just structure it to where you can get out of it. But to just refuse to pay them has never worked for a franchise.
Happened to Dak.
Happened with Kirk Cousins in Washington.
Yeah. So we're still struggling for a quarterback.
Yep.
Still struggling for a quarterback. I'm not saying like if Lamar right now, you gotta say he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. You cannot afford not to have that if you're the Ravens. You can't afford to. And if he comes out, if he plays on the franchise tag and balls out, y'all gonna be in trouble.
Yeah. Like, yes, there are situations where paying a guy has kind of backfired.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue Tennessee and Ryan Tannehill. But I have never seen a situation, not in recent history, of a team refusing to pay the quarterback and it working out well for them.
It just doesn't seem well. It costs a lot of money, man. They should have just signed him 2 years ago, right after his MVP season.
Yep.
They should have just signed him. Boom. Lamar, biggest franchise. He resets the quarterback market. He's not asking for guaranteed money then.
Yep.
He doesn't ask for it.
And it'll be just like
you can structure this deal. His deal would have been very, very cap friendly right now if he signed a couple years ago.
Look at the Patrick Mahomes contract.
Mm-hmm.
Signed a $500 million contract, and it looks pretty dang reasonable right now.
Yep. $45 million a year. They said Jalen Hurts might do something like that. They say Jalen Hurts might sign a 7-year, $345 million deal. And the crazy thing, the way the Patrick Mahomes is structured is the 42. It's like $40 million. That's a roster bonus, so they can cash him out, and it's not against the cap. I was like, what? By the time his base salary goes up, the salary cap's going to go up. So by the time they end up paying him 45, he's going to be like the 12th highest paid quarterback or something crazy like that. I was like, wow. I was like, wow, that makes good sense. But we're gonna see. But they need to pay their quarterback, and they're not drafting a quarterback here. They're not. Not after signing OBJ. They're not drafting a quarterback. Peter King was like, people think that the Ravens are drafting a quarterback are out of their mind.
I mean, you say you draft Hendon Hooker, Lamar ain't showing up.
Nope. I've seen Craig. Have you seen any mock drafts where the Ravens are drafting a quarterback, even if one falls? I don't see any.
No, but Corey just made a good point that I was about to bring up as well about Hayden Hooker. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets drafted, especially if the whole Lamar Jackson thing, the saga, if they don't believe he's going to re-sign, and they haven't come to any, they're not anywhere close it's only 2 weeks away, but.
You said they draft Hendon Hooker?
I'm not saying they would. I wouldn't be. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. I just think there's too many questions surrounding this whole Lamar Jackson thing at this point that I don't even know if they're close at this point.
If they draft a quarterback, Lamar is not showing up.
Probably not.
He's not showing up.
Probably not. I mean, where does he end up? If the Colts get a quarterback, only other team I can see possibly is the Commanders, just because they need a quarterback. I mean, they don't need a quarterback, but maybe Atlanta. But Atlanta said they were out a long time ago. But maybe they get desperate at that point.
I think I think Atlanta did that because of the guaranteed money.
Yep.
Well, nobody's.
If Lamar backs off of that a little bit,
that's what everybody's waiting for. It's that guaranteed money. He gotta kind of. He has to work. He got to dial back a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I don't know what his
most quarterbacks. What I've seen of most of them have gotten paid all of their money when it's not guaranteed.
But
even if a team moves off, they take a cap hit.
Yeah, but what is the lowest he's willing to go before he says, you know what, I'm cool with that. I'll go ahead and sign. Or is he going to pull a Le'Veon Bell and sit out a year and be like, I'm cool?
I think he loves football too much. I don't think he sits out a year.
I wouldn't be surprised if he sat out
a whole year. Nah,
if he's betting on himself and he doesn't.
You say if the Ravens draft a quarterback?
I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying like he just doesn't want to. He just doesn't. If he doesn't get traded, there's no team out there that's willing to pay whatever amount that he wants to get paid, and the Ravens don't want to do it either. What are his options? To come back and play on to sign a franchise tag or to sit out at that point?
Damn.
There's only two options I can think of because I mean if they're not going to reach a deal, no team is going to trade for him. His only two options to me are sit out or sign the franchise tag, come back, bet on yourself for one more season, getting 30-something million a year or whatever.
I think it's 32.
Yeah, okay, you're getting 32 a year. That's not good enough for him at this point. I would assume he's still young enough.
Fully guaranteed.
Really good contract. If Lamar Jackson doesn't get hurt 10 and miss 10 games, I don't even know if we're having this conversation.
No.
At this point, I mean, I know he waited or the team waited, but
I think if he was, to be honest,
or if he's 2-1 in the playoffs or 3-1 in the playoffs instead of 1-2 in the playoffs or whatever it is, and
is he 1-1?
Whatever, he's won more than one game in the playoffs, and he hasn't missed in the last 2 years he hasn't missed 10 games. I don't know if we're even having this conversation.
I don't know.
He's probably signed, or he's probably.
I still don't know what my team is doing. I don't know what the Commanders. I don't know why they're not
inquiring.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just waiting for the ownership thing to happen or blow over or die down.
That's a perfect time to do it.
Before the ownership change? What if the new ownership doesn't want them? Then you just waste it.
They short. They got the same thing with Russell Wilson. They short, man. Meanwhile, right with that team, Ron Rivera in the NFC with Lamar, we're running for the division every year. We're one of the top teams in the NFC with Lamar Jackson. I'm telling you, man. But I don't know what the Commanders are doing. If I'm them, I'm reaching out to Lamar. But I don't know what they're doing. I know what Atlanta's doing. I think it's the guaranteed money, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Especially Ron Rivera. It knows this is last year, man. Go big or go home. I think it would be packed if we got Lamar.
Yeah, you would finally have a true home game for the Commanders because the stadium wouldn't be 50 to 60% fans of the opposing team.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of Lamar jerseys.
I think once they get new ownership in general, I think some of the fans will come back anyway.
I think so. I think the ownership and
but if you add on a new owner and Lamar Jackson, that's going to help with getting a new stadium somewhere.
Yeah.
It's going to help with a bunch of stuff wherever they want to be. If they want to be in Virginia or they want to be in Maryland, or
the team is going to value's going to increase.
If the team's relevant.
If they got to be relevant too. But I think Lamar Jackson.
You get Lamar, you're relevant.
You're relevant
in a weak NFC. I just think they be a top 5 at worst.
Top 5 at worst. I agree, but I don't. Guys, I'm telling you this right now. I don't know what they're doing. It doesn't make sense to me. I would like to trade for Lamar, but
maybe they're waiting till
the teams do that. They can wait after the draft. But maybe, man, with him, our offensive weapons, and Eric Bieniemy, I will buy a Lamar jersey. I would have a Lamar Jackson jersey if he came, but I don't know. It has to be the guaranteed money, but man,
Commanders used to pay people too.
Oh, if Snyder wasn't selling the team, we'd probably get Lamar.
Back in the day.
If Snyder wasn't selling the team, we would reach for Lamar. We would. I know
that is very much a Snyder move. Yeah.
Yep. And he'll be there like, we got our quarterback, and the stadium will be packed. But that's a Snyder move. So I but hopefully he plays and triples his value. Before we go, I just don't want him sitting out. I would play under the franchise tag, man.
I think he does eventually.
I think he loves football too much, Craig, to sit out.
I'm not saying he would sit out. I just said I wouldn't be surprised if he does sit out. I wouldn't. Did
Le'Veon really come back?
Like I've seen a lot, huh?
Did he really he got a deal? but was he good?
No, Le'Veon Bell wasn't good.
Nah, like I don't think you can take time off like that.
I think
Not Michael Jordan.
It's two different positions.
Yeah,
I
an
think
older running back versus a quarterback. I think there's not
So you
much
think it's
comparison there.
okay?
I think
I'm
it's
just saying,
fun.
sitting out the year though. I don't think you should do that.
I think he'd be fine versus a running back like Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell wasn't.
I think he was 30.
I mean, but he wasn't like he was
Lamar's 26.
borderline top 10 maybe or something. I don't know.
If
But-
you think he sits out, does you think his trade value goes up?
Maybe because he's not hurt at this point in time.
Lamar's going to sign at some point. I think the question that he needs to answer for himself is he willing to wait until like week 9 to sign that franchise tag?
Jeez. That's
Because
pulling a gangster move right there.
wherever that deadline falls
I
for
think it's
him to
week
have
9.
to sign for the year to count as an accrued season, is he willing to wait that long?
I would be. I would wait.
I would. If he, especially if he's serious about the Ravens meeting his demands, you sit, you show the organization just how important you are, and then you come back.
And then they
after
go
the season started
3-6, 3-5 to start the season. Possibly. I don't know what the schedule's going to be like, but I mean,
it's not going to go great for him.
You have to think that they're not going to be nowhere near as good. Obviously,
they're going to be bad,
regardless of who.
With Tyler Huntley starting,
they're
it
going
could
to
be
be
the
bad.
8 easiest games of their schedule to start the season, or 9 easiest games of the schedule to start the season. I still don't think they're going to be that great without Lamar Jackson.
No.
So I think he's going to prove his value and prove his worth if he does do that and sit out.
I think that's his move at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to feel like what's the last day? I think it's week 9. They would be.
Ravens are playing hardball.
I mean, they're not in a good position though.
It looked a lot better a few weeks ago.
Yep.
To me, when he came out and said he wanted to be traded and all this other stuff, and then teams said they weren't interested, and it's kind of been going downhill ever since. And now it just hasn't picked back up steam. Now there's really, other than the teams that I heard about, the Colts possibly, I heard about the Commanders, and I heard about, that was it, and the Titans. Those are the only 3 teams I heard about. Like everybody else, nothing, crickets. So I don't know.
That's really good. Lamar as a Tennessee Titan would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
I'm not sure what's going to happen, man. It's trouble.
People are saying teams are waiting till after the draft. And I'm like, all right.
If he goes to the Titans, he's going to be kind of the same, maybe a worse situation because he doesn't have any wide receivers.
Oh, yeah. He has to sign by Tuesday, the 10th week of the regular season.
And he's got an aging running back who he's good, but I don't know.
That's tough because, I mean, who do you I mean, they got the NFC West. Those are some good. You got 2 good teams in there. You know what I'm saying? They played the Los Angeles Rams.
I mean, I think the Rams bounce back this year once Kupp and Stafford are healthy. The Niners are going to be good.
Jacksonville.
The Hawks should be better.
Yep. The Chargers should be better. Miami should be better. Detroit should be better. I don't know if this is an easy 9 game. I'm just looking at their opponents. And there's probably going to be some divisional games in there. They might be in a bad position with Tyler Huntley.
he might have a little bit more confidence after how he played in the playoffs because he almost won that game. But
It was an ugly game.
I'm not a believer in Tyler Huntley.
Nah, it's gonna. I don't know, man. It doesn't look like they have some really easy opponents. It doesn't look like it. I just don't think that it's gonna be a good 9 games without Lamar Jackson to start the season. You're right. They might be 3-5, maybe 2-6. That's gonna be tough. Lamar, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be a tough situation they're in.
That's the situation they dealt with.
Yeah, they put themselves in that situation. So, all right, guys, we'll see y'all next week. All right, peace.